all of the things that have been done on the edges, if you will, the ICE raids included, this really, for this administration, this really was sort of the centerpiece of all of it, fair to say. Any idea what could come after this from a legislative standpoint? Could we see another attempt at an executive order?
That's a great take on it, Craig, and it could mean that we see more policies that attempt to do what Stephen Miller laid out in that election eve address at Madison Square Garden in 2024 when he told a crowd of Trump supporters that America is for Americans and Americans only. That was a divergence even from the first Trump administration that tried to use policies of deterrence to keep more people from crossing the border. And under this administration, we've seen a new focus on trying to get people who have come into the country either illegally or have overstayed their visas, or even people who are U.S. citizens, trying to get them denaturalized and take them out of the country. There's been more of an emphasis on that idea that Stephen Miller laid out, and this executive order was the pinnacle of that, trying to redefine who it is, who are Americans, in a narrower scope, and really trying to pull from this cultural identity among Trump supporters that Trump is someone who can protect the idea of that cultural identity that Stephen Miller was laying out. And so this Supreme Court, in some ways, has helped the Trump administration agenda. Just last year, the Supreme Court majority said that it was not racial profiling when ICE officers and Border Patrol agents went into cities like Los Angeles and made arrests if it was based on more than just the color of someone's skin and the language spoken, that they could make arrests, for example, if it had to do with the place of employment. If someone was working at a low-wage job, that could be a characteristic on which they could make arrests, which, of course, blew open the doors for people like Greg Bovino, who were leading Border Patrol into cities like Chicago and then later in Minneapolis in January, where we saw fatal shootings of 2 U.S. citizens. Today, though, that executive authority and that idea of redefining who it is to be an American has been limited by this court.